So today we're in Saarland with Mr. Ralph to learn a bit about his opinions on history. So thank you for being here with us.
You're most welcome.
So are you from Saarland?
I am from Saarland, yes. I'm born here.
Okay, so do you think that people from Saarland consider themselves fully German because it changed a lot? So do you think there are some traditions, like French traditions or culture that left behind, or do you think people consider themselves fully like integrated into Germany?
In my experience, most of them think they are German, but also a lot of them consider them European first and German second
Oh, so
because of all of this common history.
do you think there are any common traits that people share when they think of themselves as European, like any traditions or cultural habits or something like that?
Well, there is the European history goes a little bit back further, right? There's the
Yeah.
Romans first, and there is Karl, Karl the Great with the capital in Aachen,
Yeah.
and who had most of French. Then all the European countries are basically his children dividing up the kingdom, right? So that common ancestry goes back a long way, and even so with all the rivalries. This common Christian, Judaish, Greek tradition that is definitely common to all, no matter where you're from.
Okay. So since people voted to go to integrate into Germany twice, what do you think that they thought were the benefits of being with Germany rather than France or the separate European one?
The first time go vote back, I mean the option was only French or German. This area from a French point of view is always the poor area of France.
Oh.
So going back to Germany at that time, of course, also meant you are back with people and the government that speaks your own language. So at that, even so, there was a lot of doubt about because the Nazis at that time already in power, right? But there was a lot of feeling that is we are better there than there.
Yeah, like 90% of people voted to go with Germany, right?
No.
In my research, it said it was like a lot, most
There's quite a lot.
Yeah. Do you have any family that lived in Saarland during a political transition, or?
In France, we are just the poor sector of France, and we are the losers. And when we join Germany, then we are part of Germany again.
Yes.
So there were a lot of economic advantages for staying with France, especially if you were working in the coal and mining industry.
Yeah.
A lot of people decided to go back because you have relatives crossing the border to the rest of Germany was very difficult. By the time they voted, Germany was already moving ahead with this building up and speeding up. Okay. So at that time, and the option of staying staying independent, third option, that unfortunately got not so many votes.
Okay, so since Saarland obviously has like a rich history in Europe, how do you perceive the awareness in like younger generations, like the education about the history? Like, what do you think about it? Like, do people know a lot or a little?
The history, especially the German history, is of course a big focus when they teach history in Germany. And one of the things is you visit the concentration. Normally, towards the end of school, most classes have this field trip. Go visit one of the concentration camps. And even here we have some traces of that. But a lot of people, it's just younger people, it's just old history. Even so you can see the traces, it's just old history. And they don't really think about this. They so much enjoy going on the weekend to France or coming from France to here, go shopping there. So a lot of people, the younger people, they enjoy this freedom of traveling without changing currency and the passport control. So that for them this is all old history.
So what do you think about their perspective? Like, do you think it's okay that they think it's just in the past, or do you think they should be more aware about the implications?
I think you should always be aware of
Yes.
what went before and what mistakes were made and how to avoid them in the future. So I'm very much in favor of history and teaching and keeping that in mind. There's also this practice of inviting people who lived that time to talk about how it was when Hitler came to power and how it was, I mean, especially that part, right? I mean, the war happened because we let Hitler come to power.
Yeah.
How to avoid that stage, that is where you have to start. And but it's getting very hard to find people who are still alive from that area.
Yeah, because it's almost 80 years ago, right? Yeah.
More. I mean, the people who lived that actively, they are almost 100.
So what do you think the collective German view on World War II is? Like, what are their feelings about it? Like, do they feel guilty or they feel okay?
There's always this talk about German guilt, but it's but that's mostly used by people who have their own perspective on the right wing. But if you monitor, it's not so much a German guilt as a German responsibility, because we lived this history.
Yeah.
We should be more aware that why it happened and that it doesn't happen again. Look at you. You are a young person, right? You're a little bit younger than me, and you have this interest, right? You also, and you are, because of the current world situation, is a lot of it feels like it's in the 1920s. We are moving closer to catastrophe. So it's very good that you're taking this. Not, I mean, even you are not from Europe, but it's not only European history. So recognize that the people who are actually fighting the war are not the people responsible for the war. If you are a hero, that means somebody on the other side has died, right? So, but that goes both ways, and they all have families, right? They all have parents, children. All this discussion about the war in Ukraine, they're very split opinion how best to treat this. And this war is, maybe we need to supply weapons, maybe we need to help, because we are in a similar situation than in the 30s. We must prevent something even more evil. It's like at the beginning, the British, there's Chamberlain, famous, he went for negotiations when they, at that time, Germans occupied the Czech Republic and Czechoslovakia, right? And then the British Chamberlain went to negotiate with Hitler, and they come to some sort of agreement, but Germany basically was allowed to keep the Czech Republic, and but they promised we will not do anything more. And Chamberlain came back and he told everybody he secured peace for our time. But of course, Germany did not stop there. The next step is they took Poland. And it went there. Maybe if at that time the rest of the world would have taken a different, it could have been avoided, right? So, and for a lot of people, this situation in Ukraine feels very similar. And on the other hand, there are also a lot of people. It doesn't matter. In 100 years, it doesn't matter who has won. But okay, I was in Ukraine before all of this started, and I was in exactly that area where the Russians say all these people feel like they should belong to Russia. When I was there, nobody. Everybody told me how happy they are that they are finally rid of Russia. Because the way they told the story is, and if you look back a little bit at the history, Ukraine and Russia were actually started by the Vikings. The Vikings from Sweden, they travel down this river and they start the city Kiev. And then from there, they have a little, in the countryside, a little station called Moscow. And the Ukrainian farmers and people, the Crimean Tatars, they also have this strong history of independence. They're often big independent farmers, and they already didn't like that the Austrians were ruling them. And the Crim Tatars, they offered their service to the Tsar of Russia if he helps them get rid of the Austrians. So they helped him, and they helped Russia on the path to become this powerful, because the Russian army was not that strong at the time. But as Russia got stronger and stronger, they suppressed the Crim Tatars more and more, and later on, when the Soviet Union happened, Stalin actually caused a big famine in Ukraine, because he didn't like all these they didn't want to listen to Moscow. They said, no, we do our own stuff. And he let them, he took all their crops away and let them starve to death. Millions died. And during the Russian time, Soviet Union time, also the Crim Tatars, they moved them and spread them all over Russia, so that they can merge as a group. And after the Ukraine became independent, they all moved back to Crimea and to where they originally come from. A lot of them moved back, right? So they were trying to build up their own culture. And even during this Second World War, the Russians always made sure that the Ukrainians were in front. And after the war, so many Ukrainians were killed that more Ukrainians than Russians were killed. And no matter what, they say the Ukrainians invent the Kalashnikov, the Ukrainians invent the rockets. And if you look, a lot of these scientific names that push forward, they come from Ukraine. So and the Ukrainians were very well aware of that Russia was not good for them.
Not really treating them like brothers.
And when the Russians took over Crimea, take their property away from them again. This propaganda story that Putin is pushing is definitely not what I heard when I was exactly I was in Zaporozhye. That's where the factory was, and I spent there. I went there. We had several trips there. I think I spent 3-4 months in total there. Or at the end of the day, you always have to ask yourself, what type of system do I believe in, and then I support this, right? And how do I? And then you have to look, how are these ideas spread? Are these ideas spread by force, or are these ideas spread by just talking about it? And then you can, from a NATO's point of view, because I mean, NATO never conquered anybody, right? But Russia did. I mean that. So and but originally there was an agreement signed by Russia, the Ukrainians. They had a lot of atomic bombs, right? And France, Britain, Russia, they all signed this contract. If you give up your atomic bombs, then we will protect you. So and now what happened, right? So no matter the difference, the way the Russia choose to resolve it is by force. So basically, it's Putin's story. It's Putin and his ruling class that is putting forward this story. In hindsight, Russia, they say, oh, because Ukraine wanted to join NATO and NATO is threatening us, right? That's what Russia said. But if you look at it back now, if Ukraine would have joined NATO, Russia would never have come to Ukraine, right? So looking back, was a smart idea. Ukraine had the right opinion. Ukraine wants to join NATO, then it's the choice of the Ukrainian people, not the choice of Russia. Right?
Basically, they just ask Ukraine to sacrifice themselves to protect Russia.
Yes,
so,
that is.
But put them at the front line.
Life is not perfect. There will always be problems.
Yes.
If somebody then comes and says, "Oh, you have a problem not because you have a problem, but because these other people are causing your problems. But if you give me power, I will kill all of these people for you." Right? If you don't know what it means, if somebody is killed, that means some parents have no children anymore, some husband has no wife, or some wife, some parents and some children have no parent anymore, right? So that's what it means to kill somebody.
Exactly.
For what? Right?
Exactly.
And if you are not aware how people can manipulate, and that there are people who will try to manipulate you for your own gain, it's very easy for it to happen again.
Yes.
That's good.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome.